How we going, viewers? Now I'm back again with another video, and when I make my videos it's like I'm reading the same script over and over, but this is what it feels like to be a target individual. It's just Groundhog Day. Some target individuals don't experience things as tough as others, and I'm not saying that I'm experiencing it as tough as it gets, but there are different levels of it. Now, I've concluded that this is a Holocaust, disguised and hidden, so there's no mass hysteria, even though plenty of people in the community are aware of it. I mean, plenty of people in the law are aware of it, in the judicial system are aware of it, and the way they get away with this sort of thing is they paint an ugly picture of the target individual. They get fake witnesses to step forward with false allegations, so it's easier for them to gain support from the public. As it stands, I feel like I'm living in a concentration camp that's just disguised by this just normal facade of a suburban home. This is where the poisoning and all that comes into it. The psychological harassment, the psychological torture. And, if you can see from the comments down underneath the videos, a lot of the people that jump on the bandwagon, they just get a thrill out of just antagonizing the victim. I have some advice for target individuals. If you're copying it really, really hard and it feels like there's no way out of it for you, the only way for you guys to survive is to drop off grid. Get off the grid. If you got any bush survival skills, wilderness survival skills, it's going to be tough for you out there, but I guess if you want to survive, that's the only place that you're going to survive. Don't fret, because the land has everything that we need to survive. It always has. It's only in the last 1,000 or so years we've parked up and become civilized human beings and relied on technology and in this advanced living and style of living. Now, here's another thing to target individuals. All these perpetrators and all these people that are getting involved and jumping on the bandwagon, there's a name for these people. In the African American slave trade, when Africans were slaves in the USA, there was something called a house nigger. Now, I only use that terminology not as something derogatory or because I've got anything against black people or African people, whatever the correct terminology is these days, without people getting offended, is that they had a select few slaves that would be chosen to live in the house and be treated much better because they were much more subservient, and they'd even go against their own kind. Their masters would treat them much better, they'd be given better foods and whatnot, but at the end of the day, they're just trying to survive. Now, these people that are out in the community jumping in on it, when you go to the shopping centre, when you go to your supermarket, people quickly push in front of you in the line, bump into you purposely and then look at you, walk past you and smile. I mean, all these things that they do to a person is to simulate and copy schizophrenic symptoms. And that's the card that they're going to keep throwing at you. Every single time you complain about such experiences, they're going to say to you, you need help, you're paranoid, you got a mental health issue and whatnot. I mean, target individuals know we don't have a mental health issue. Target individuals understand that the people that are getting involved in this and enjoying it are the ones with mental health issues. But it seems like the system is harboring these kind of people. It just seems like they don't want humanity to have empathy or to be sane, logical, and rational. I mean, targeted individuals do seem irrational at times because they're poked and provoked. But that's out of anger. That's out of frustration. I mean, if they don't want people to have these kind of emotions, then eradicate these words and their meaning from the dictionaries. Don't teach humanity these words. Just scratch them out of history. Because that's what it seems like they want, to people just be just servants, obedient workers. And when you're poked and prodded, you're not allowed to go ow, or it hurts. You're not allowed to complain. If you complain, you got a mental health issue. This is what's happening. I mean, targeted individuals, don't think anyone's coming to help you. If you look at all the mass killings that's occurring around the world, you know that human life is has no value whatsoever. It honestly has no value anymore in this modern day and age. I mean, a tree would have more value than a human life at the moment. This is the picture that they're painting. This is what they teach at universities, that we need to depopulate the earth because the earth can't sustain this many people. Well, the earth can sustain triple and quadruple the amount of what it's sustaining at the moment. Okay, but not in the fashion that we're living in. Now, what is cheaper for them to do is to reduce the population than it is to just scrap the entire system and start everything from scratch. You know, you got families that have 5 or 6 cars parked in their driveway. You have people that own private jets that zip around the sky in private jets. These industrial companies that are raping the earth, mining companies that are raping the earth for resources. You know, they've cleared down so much land for farming, for an industrial scale. I mean, the way they fish the oceans, it's just they drop these massive nets and then whatever is caught is caught. It's just raping it sideways. So, oh yeah, and the thing is, it's cheaper for them to throw out food than it is to store it. I mean, everything is designed in such a way that's just consumption, consume. That's all we are. We're consumers. We're no longer living creatures. We're just consumers. All of us. And this is what they want. To the people that are trying to go off grid and live sustainably, everything is made so it's virtually impossible to do so. They want to force people into smaller living conditions, reduce their, how can I put this? Reduce their style of living to almost starvation. Most of the food we have is processed, pumped with steroids and chemicals and everything. So many people out there that are able to explain and articulate what I'm saying much clearer and with much more meaning. To many of the viewers, it seems like I've just watched too many conspiracy theories and I've gone loopy. No, but a person can make sense of what they're viewing, but can they repeat it to the viewers or to someone else as they understand it? No, that takes skill. Okay, that takes someone that is quite educated and can word themselves properly and express what's on their mind and what their thoughts are and what they've learned with clarity, without coming across as someone that's a conspiratard or a conspiracy theorist or whatever. I mean, whatever you come up with, you know, if you say you appreciate the innocence of children, they're going to turn around and say you're a pedophile. If you are childlike yourself, they're going to say that you're mentally retarded. There's just anything and everything that you can do to be a good person, there's another dualistic meaning that they've created just to tarnish it. Everything is by design in this system, and what they're teaching in universities and the education system is all wrong. A lot of people are going to say, who do you think you are to make such a statement like that? Well, I'm not the only one saying it. There are millions of other people saying it as well. If people just drop out of the current and sit on the fence and watch the world go by, they'll actually see it for what it is, instead of being part of it. How can they actually think that depopulation is the key? Whoever's come up with these theories, are they from this class, this social class, up the top? It's not going to be any of their children. It's not going to be any of them that's going to be culled off. It's going to be the lower and working class man. I mean, all the cheaper alcohol, all the cheaper tobacco, all the cheaper food that we buy is designed to make us ill. And all these high-end products for the wealthy aren't as bad for you. You're telling me that's not by design? If you're a good servant, you can get into a trade or a qualification or a work or an industry that you can make money from, if you're a subservient slave. This is all this is. We're slaves to the system. Now, there's nothing wrong with working. I've always said there's nothing wrong with working. Even if you're living off the land like we were as primitive human beings, you still have to work for your food. And I know it seems a bit contradictory coming from a person that's living in community housing and surviving off welfare benefits. But again, people that are in these programs targeting individuals understand why you can't get a job. They follow you to work, they'll harass you at work, they'll influence your employer, they'll contract everyone and anyone that you deal with to jump in on it. And if they don't jump in on it, they will be harassed and their property will be vandalized. Maybe not as much, but just to get them to jump in on it. That's it. That's just the way it works. So they'll try and grab any dirt on the target individual, pump it up with steroids, grow it larger and mutate it larger than what it actually is by far. They'll turn the shadow into an actual monster just to get people to jump on the bandwagon. I mean, if people look at the Georgia Guidestone tablets, like I've mentioned previously, as if the perpetrators think that they're not going to be culled off as well. They're just using obedient trained dogs, well-trained dogs, to do the work for them, and then when their time is up, they're gone as well. Don't people see that? Can no one see that happening? They want to reduce the Earth population to a couple of million. How is that going to work when there's 7 billion people? I mean, that's a really horrific picture to imagine. I can't imagine that world state that will be in. I mean, they're trying to keep it concealed as much as possible and bring in as much people as they can so these people feel safe and that there's no threat against their life and their family's life. But they're not safe. And I'm not just saying that to spark fear or to be a vindictive person. It's the truth. I mean, it's the hard, honest truth. It doesn't make a difference how much money you have. If you come from this class, you are not them. They view themselves as completely different, genetically different human beings. That's what they do. That's what they're trying to do, to create a genetic difference between the elite and the working and lower classes. This is exactly what they're trying to do. This is what they've done over the years, the hundreds of years. Do you think royalty will marry a commoner without tracing their line back to see if it's somehow being connected to them? They don't marry with us. They don't intermingle. It's a kind of segregation. As if people don't see that. You know, as it stands, they're going to gun for me, they're coming for me real fast. One way or another, they're going to shut me up and finish me off. And, you know, I'm not on medication and I'm not registered. I am not diagnosed with a mental health issue. This is what they're trying to push for. Because once they do so, I'll be completely discredited. No one will listen to you whatsoever. You know, they can do the most horrific and horrendous things to you, and no one will ever believe you. They'll just say he's delusional, he's hallucinating, and da 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 da. And I'll be damned if I'm going to allow that to happen to me. I'm going to try my best to refrain from it, but this is a very well thought out plan, well thought out program. Every avenue that you can take, they've roadblocked. And you know, even if a target individual has to commit a crime to escape, there's still a roadblock there. They've already anticipated that possible avenue that you might take. Do you know what I mean? They've studied you very well. They understand how your mind works. And just put it this way, they know what you're like. If you can get away targeting individuals, don't think and don't have this false hope that it's going to stop. If they're hammering you with poisons and you're falling ill and whatnot, don't think by lingering around and being a good little puppet and whatnot it's going to stop, because it's not. Okay, it's not. If you want to have any form of life, even for a short amount of time, drop off the grid. That's the only way you're going to be a free human being and enjoy a bit of fresh air and oxygen. That's it. That's all I can say to you. There's nothing you can do. There really isn't anything an individual can do to escape the clutches of this program. I mean, almost 80% of people in the community are in on it. Okay? Whether they know what the larger program is or if they've just been told you've committed a heinous crime and jump in on the harassment. That's just how it works. Do you know what I mean? Peace, however you do it. But don't forget, you're a human being too. You have rights. And it doesn't matter what these criminals say to you, they can't take that away from you. You know, if the law has been written so your rights have been taken away, that's an illegal law. Okay, that's piracy. So do what you can to escape. And I do feel sorry for the targeted individuals that have children, because it makes it a lot harder. You're not only thinking about yourself, you're thinking about your kids as well. So my love goes out to you guys, and don't just sit there praying for Jesus Christ, because Jesus Christ is within you. The Holy Spirit is within you. If you're going to wait for Jesus Christ, you're waiting till you die. Now, I'm not going to just say I love you all. I love and hate you all, because that's the middle way. You can't just favour one without the other. And to the perpetrators that are getting in on this, and the people that are involved in this, you're nothing but house niggers. That's it. Yeah, I may get angry and headbutt and shake and scream and get frustrated with you guys from the taunts and whatnot and the harassment, but that's just natural for a human being. To deny the very impulses that make us human is to deny the very fact that we are human. That's it. And don't fall for the lady in red. Okay? Ciao.